Other tips for helping children to deal with caregiving responsibilities would be to give them respite, to give them opportunities to get away from their caregiving responsibilities the same way that you might need to get away from them. Maybe it's a night out, going to the movies. Maybe it's getting to spend the night at a friend's house. Those kinds of things end up being very important for all of us so that we can deal with a stressful situation in a very positive way. I would also suggest that any adults in the child's life be made aware of what is going on. This can be very difficult. I've been a caregiver myself, and I have 3 children, and I know how hard it is to have to let other people in into what's going on in your own family. But it is important that those adults know that these kinds of things are happening, because then they can be on the lookout for any kind of unusual behavior or signs that perhaps the child or adolescent is not dealing with the situation as well as he or she should. I also would like to point out that adults, when we become caregivers, we often take on all of these responsibilities ourselves. When we have young children or adolescents in the household, we may ask them to help us, and we become so consumed with what's going on in the caregiving situation that we often forget sometimes those children and adolescents need us just to be parents. That is, they need to see mom or dad at the school play. And sometimes when our caregiving responsibilities get to be quite extensive, we find reasons on why we can't be there, and perhaps the child will understand. But the truth is that child is growing and developing, and those events are very important to his or her development as much as whatever is going on in the situation with the person in need of care. So a suggestion would be to enlist the help of others, either family members, friends, or neighbors, who might be able to give you some respite to stay with the person that you're caring for, so that you are free to attend those events with your children. That's something that can really go a long way for giving both of you some respite and letting you connect around something other than the caregiving experience. Finally, I think that it's important to recognize that when it's developmentally appropriate and when there is support available, caregiving can provide an opportunity for young children and adolescents to learn about how important it is to care for other people. That is, there are some positives that will come out of this as long as they're not being asked to do something that is outside their capabilities. That if they are being asked to assist in some way, that there are adults in the environment that can be supportive, can help put a context on it, so that the child or the adolescent does not feel that he or she is alone in providing this care, but rather is part of a family working toward a team goal of helping each of the family members so that they can have good outcomes. Consequently, I think if caregiving is done in an environment with lots of education, lots of communication, lots of laughter and support, it can end up being a positive experience for all involved, and most certainly for those young people.